So far in India, we have an education system that has been a legacy of Macaulay. Lord Macaulay, who designed an education system for India on behalf of the British government, on behalf of the Britishers, where the purpose was to enslave the Indian minds, make people of India believe that they are inferior to the Westerners, that they are inferior to the British, and then make them work on their projects. Indians were supposed to work on the in the British factories, on their British ships, in the British army, in the British offices, but they were supposed to be remaining as people who will never question, who will be loyal, and who will not strive to reach the top positions of leadership. Now, that system has been continuing for a very long time, even post-independence. Now, with this background, without elaborating too much of this background, I want you to think about something. Think what happened to our opportunities, what happened to the job scenario, what happened to the professional environment in the last 10 years. In the last 10 years, we have seen there has been a lot of change in the way employment is perceived. There is advancement in the artificial intelligence, machine learning space. What we did not even imagine could have been jobs 10, 15 years ago are the jobs which are thriving today. We did not even know a large number of the jobs that exist today could even come up 10, 15 years ago. Now, we have seen tremendous change, tremendous transformation of the employment space, of the opportunities that we see as professionals in the world. The last 10, 15 years has brought about so much change. Can we even predict, or can we even think about what would be the life, or what would be the kind of opportunities that we will have, our children will have 10 years down the line, 15 years down the line, 20 years down the line? Somebody with a 5-year-old kid today, somebody with a 10-year-old kid today, how will you be able to predict what opportunities they will have, or what are the kind of jobs or professions that they will be doing 15, 20 years down the line? 20 years later, what might be the most thriving professions? The world has been changing significantly over the last 30, 40, 50 years. There have been periods when somebody with physical strength had great opportunities. With the advent of machines, as more and more heavy machinery came into existence, people with physical strength as their advantage lost their advantage, and there were no opportunities for them. Then came a stage when people who could remember things had a lot of opportunities. Government jobs would open, and people who can remember things, as and when the storage devices came into existence, memory lost its significance. Then there was a stage when people with analysis, people with logical thinking, people who can write, and people who can people who can consolidate information in a particular context had a lot of opportunities. With artificial intelligence, even that has become irrelevant. For a large number of people today, even if you have great physical strength, you may not have so many opportunities as it used to be some time ago. If you can remember things, you don't have to remember things. The computer will remember better than you. If you can write things in a particular context, even that is being done by the technology. Artificial intelligence is doing it. Your research ability is being replaced by artificial intelligence. The artificial intelligence or the technology can do better research than you, can give you a large number of collated information within a short span of time, and beyond that, your job is to make sense out of that information to your perspective. So what common people could have got as opportunities has transformed, and it is no longer a much sought after skill, or it is no longer a much sought after opportunity that common people can strive for. So what are our children supposed to do? What is it that we are training them for? What is it that we want them to be prepared for 10 years down the line, 15 years later? Where should we prepare them for all these things? Where is the training happening for the future? The future is uncertain. It's more uncertain than it has ever been in the past that we know of. In the entire human history, this period that we see, or in the period hereafter, will be more uncertain than it has ever been in the past. Human potential has got no boundaries. Human potential is infinite, unlimited potential. But to transform that potential into reality needs training. It requires practice. It requires proper ecosystem where the children can train, where the children can develop into their full potential, will develop their full potential into abilities, capabilities, competencies that will help them survive in whatever situation that they will be put into. What are we doing? Is our education system taking care of these needs? Is the system of education in our country any different from what it was 10 years ago? Is the general system of education in our country any different from what it was 20 years ago? Are our children doing something different than what we did, than what our parents did, than what our grandparents did? For decades, the education system has become stagnant. It is remaining where it was. It is still the same one-dimensional approach to education. Go to school, learn whatever is given in the syllabus, period after period, hour after hour. Learn question and answers, or learn the way you respond to those questions based on the limited content. Don't work on anything else. There is no development of physical dimension. There is no multidimensional growth happening. There is no connection to what's happening in the world and what the education system is training the students for. Now, with such a disconnected system that we have for training our children to face the future, we are putting them into a stage where they will be lost and they will not even know what to do. Now, with this, think about an education in another context. Let's look at education in some other context. We look at class and status differences, class and cost. See, cost is dependent on class. So whatever class anybody belongs to, I'm talking about the socio-economic classes of people. People on different steps of the socio-economic ladder will have different abilities to afford the cost of anything that they want. So if somebody wants to afford an education which is expensive, they need to be higher on the socio-economic ladder. A large number of our population, majority of our population, is on the lower steps of the socio-economic ladder. How many people can afford a school education that costs 1.5 lakh rupees a year per child? If there are 2 children, about 3 to 4 lakh rupees expenditure on the education of the child means that the family has to spend about 35 to 40,000 rupees. 35 to 40,000 rupees on education per month, when a large number of people don't even have a family income of 35 to 40,000 rupees per month. Think about education structuring or stratification of education in our country. There are schools which cater to the educational needs of people in the lower socioeconomic strata. These schools are primarily run by government, the government schools, or schools run by some non-governmental organizations or individuals running low-cost schools for people, low-cost or no-cost schools for people in the lower socioeconomic strata. Then there are schools which cater to the lower middle class to middle class population with affordable fee structure, with affordable cost of education. Then there are schools which are for aspirational middle class, and then there are schools which are for rich people or very high net worth individuals, rich people. Think about the way these schools are regulated. Maximum regulation by the government happens in the schools which are run by the government. The government schools are micromanaged by the government. There is more regulation. There is higher amount of regulation in the lower cost schools. As you keep going higher and higher in the level of schools or the class of schools that the children are the schools are catering to, as the class of the school keeps increasing, the regulation of the government keeps decreasing. What does that mean? It means that if you are sending your child to a school which is a low-cost school or a no-cost school, the government is deciding what you should be learning, what your child should be learning, what are the attitudes that your child should develop, what are the tendencies that your child should develop, what are the habit patterns your child will develop, what is the knowledge that your child will get, what is the direction of life that your child is deciding. All of that is regulated by the government. The government is telling you what to do, what not to do. As you keep going higher and higher in the socio-economic ladder and your affordability increases and you go to a school which is catering to higher class people. I mean, in terms of affordability, there is no higher class or lower class in terms of the individuality, but in terms of affordability, people who can afford high cost education, the government regulation becomes very minimal. What is the primary focus of people in different category of schools? The primary focus of parents or the system or the government or everybody involved in these ecosystems, the primary focus of people in the lower socioeconomic strata schools is one dimensional. Study, go to school, do whatever is being told in the school, follow the complete instructions given by the teachers, prepare for your 10th standard exams, prepare for board exams, do well in board exams, get good marks, go to the next level, get good marks, go to the next level, get good marks, get a good job. How much conversation do you see happening in schools which cater to the lower socioeconomic strata or the middle class or the lower middle class or the poorer sections of the society, where children are encouraged to take up leadership, entrepreneurship as a training, as a mindset development? It's a game of mindset, boss. Everything is a game of mindset. Whatever mindset you have, that is what will determine how many opportunities will open up for you and how you make use of those opportunities. If for a long period of time, right from the age of 3, and from the age of 3 education starts now, that is the nursery class, 3 years nursery, 4 years LKG, 5 years UKG, 6 years first standard. By the time the child comes to first standard, the child has already got 3 years of education. Right from the age of 3, if somebody is being told that you should study and go for a job, the mindset is being prepared. The ecosystem is designed to make sure everybody going through that system gets oriented towards becoming job seekers. How can our country have job creators? Is this not known to people? Is this not known to the government? Is this not known to the people who are designing the education system? It is known to everybody. But I want you to think about I want you to look at another dimension to this, another aspect of this. Who runs the education systems? Most of the education systems are run by whom? I don't want to answer this question. You answer this in your mind. We all talk about education becoming a business in our country. Education is the most thriving business in the country because there is no other business in the country which has every single individual that is born in the country being a potential client. You look at it as a business. If you look at education as a business, from the business perspective, education is the only business which has 100% of the population as the potential client base. For any business, the client base is the most important. Now, as a businessman running any business, do you want to have happy customers or do you want to have people who are capable of competing with you? Think about it. If education is a business, the people who run this business should not train people to become competitors or will not train people to become competitors. That is a shrewd businessman. A shrewd businessman will make sure that his customers are happy and competitors are destroyed. Now here, the customers or the clients are the students who are potential competitors, because if you train them on leadership and entrepreneurship, tomorrow they can come and create a parallel system to you. And now they have gone through your system, so they know what can be improvised. If you give them the mindset of leadership and entrepreneurship, they know what can be improvised off your system, and a parallel system will be better than your system because they have lived the experience of going through your system. You have created the system, they have lived the experience of going through your system, and when they create a system, it will be better than your system because it would have corrections of all the mistakes that your system has. It would have improvisation of your system. Now, as a good businessman, as a shrewd businessman, do you want somebody to come out as a competitor to you, or do you want somebody to come out as a loyal customer to you? Why India doesn't has entrepreneurship and leadership as a strong focus at the ground level, at the school level, is this. Because business people run education, because education is a business, the people who design the curriculum have designed it in such a way, the people who have designed the systems have designed it in such a way that it will never allow or restrict the people who go through the system to become competitors for their business. Think about it. What all are the focus? What all is the focus of education? The focus of education should be developing an individual in multiple dimensions. If the focus of education is not developing an individual in multiple dimension, and it is only a single dimensional growth that is being spoken about, what will happen to the potential? Why are most people unhappy? Most people are unhappy because their internal drive tells them that they have to expand in multiple dimensions, but what they are being allowed to expand is in a limited dimension, is in a limited space. Now, when this conflict of what the drive is and what the opportunities are becomes bigger and bigger, somebody who can win over this conflict and come out of that restriction and fight it out through the system and make their own systems, that is when they will be able to break this system, beat the system, and create their own opportunities, then create their own businesses, their own enterprises, their own success. So is the success of a large number of people going through this restrictive education system because of the system or in spite of the system? A lot of attempts have been made by the governments, a lot of attempts have been made by a large number of people to bring about a change here. But the change required is in the mindset of people, the expectations of people. What do you want as a parent to your child? Have clarity about it. I'll give a basic pointer to what needs to be looked at. Your child should become physically strong and healthy, physically fit and healthy. Without a strong physical fitness and health, there cannot be as much potential expansion of intellectual development. Now, without physical strength and physical fitness, without physical health, the expansion or the development in the intellectual space or the social space will become limited and restricted. That is the first thing, health and fitness. Second aspect, knowledge. Focus on developing multidimensional knowledge, diverse knowledge, not only what is limited and restricted to that given in the textbooks. The ability to understand, the ability to learn whatever interests you. More important than knowledge is the development of character, strong character, a character that is impeccable, which will give trustworthiness to the individual. A pleasant personality which makes your child be accepted in the community. Knowledge which is diverse knowledge which can make an individual be a part of any discussion, which will make your child be capable of understanding anything that happens in the world. And the next thing is skills. Development of multidimensional skills, a large number of skills. Skill development requires a problem-solving mindset. Skill development requires a mindset to look at what the problem is and try to figure out what can be done. Learn more and more problem-solving skills. Skill development. Leadership development. There are hundreds of opportunities that we get on a day-to-day basis to develop the leadership tendencies in us. A child should be given opportunities to develop as a leader. Then the entrepreneurial development. Entrepreneurship development doesn't happen when somebody goes into MBA or somebody goes into a premier institution for management studies or leadership studies. Leadership and entrepreneurship and all the great things that happen is an evolution of the innate potential, is the evolution of the innate competence that is there in every individual. It cannot be that somebody goes into MBA and then becomes a leader. Somebody is a leader who will emerge out when they go into an MBA course or when they get an opportunity. The IIMs don't create entrepreneurs. If that was the case, everybody who went to an IIM should have become an entrepreneur. It doesn't happen so. An entrepreneur going into an IIM will emerge out as an entrepreneur. Somebody with an entrepreneurial mindset goes into an IIM or a premier institution. That education will channelize the energies, will channelize the knowledge and skills required to transform their entrepreneurial mindset into an enterprise. That is what will drive. So, the education system at the school level should be restructured, should be refabricated to make sure that an ecosystem is developed which will work towards developing strong character, an impeccable character, a pleasing personality, diverse knowledge, multidimensional skills, leadership, and entrepreneurship. If these 6 points are not being worked upon in your school, in the school that your child goes, then think that your child is being developed as a bonsai plant. A plant which is capable of growing into a huge tree and becoming the support of thousands of people grows into a beautifully designed bonsai tree, which will die if it is not nurtured for a few days. Think about it. Think about it. The education of your child is your responsibility and not the government's responsibility. Government can only give you a system which will make an individual develop to a common minimum level of competence required to be a part of the system as an employee. The system that is designed, the system that we have in our country as the education system is not designed, the common education system is not designed to create leaders and entrepreneurs. It is designed to create workforce for the industry. It is designed to create labor force for the enterprises. It is not designed to create leaders and entrepreneurs. If you want your child to be a leader or an entrepreneur, or both, which your child has the capability to become a leader and an entrepreneur, it is your duty, it is your job to ensure that your child gets the right ecosystem, that your child is guided by the right set of people, and your child has the right environment at home, right kind of discussions, right kind of environment, right kind of stimulation. All that needs to be done in a conscious way to make sure your child develops into an individual that he or she is truly capable of. Your child has the capability to become a global leader. Have you created the opportunity for your child to emerge as a global leader? The onus is on you. The onus is on you as a parent to ensure that your child gets the right environment. Just resigning to somebody else's diktat doesn't help your child develop. Just thinking that my child is being put into a good school, the school has good infrastructure, the school has a good reputation, my child will do well. No. Take it into your own hands. Take charge of the education of your child. Otherwise, whatever happens is left to fate. And remember, human beings are the only beings who have been given the ability to design their own destiny. We have the ability to design our own destiny. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, Uddared atmanatmanam na atmanam avasadayet atmaiva bandhuratmanaha atmaiva hi atmadikuratmanaha. That means you have to make sure that you design your destiny. You have to make sure that you make yourself successful. Don't keep cribbing about your own self. Don't keep doing self-loathing. You are your own friend. You are your own enemy. So we need to make sure that we take charge of the education of our children, and school should just be a supplement. Education is personal. Education should be individualized. Education should be specific to your child. And if it is not focusing on character development, personality development, diverse knowledge development, skill development, leadership development, and entrepreneurship development, it is a mediocre education. Be aware of it, be truthful to accept it, and be honest to work towards giving your child all the advantages of the ecosystem, which will make your child a great and a successful individual in all dimensions of his life, in all aspects of his life's existence. He can be good, or she can be good in the personal life, social life, professional life, and even spiritual life. Give that opportunity to your children.